Good night, everyone. I hope everybody's doing well, blessed, and enjoying family. As always, muchas gracias to all for everyone's words, wishes, prayers, and the love and support everybody extends my way. From the heart, I thank everybody. Also, do please like, share, subscribe, and hype the video. Gracias. Well, everyone, this is gonna be a quick one. It's gonna be more so on an insight, right? That us as camaradas, you could have been in the state 10, 15, 20 years, but we haven't been in the feds, right? The program works differently in the feds. And this came up because I've been asked numerous of times about Willie Bobo. Is he back arrested? Is it a lie? I don't know. I've been asking around. I haven't gotten a clear answer to give it to you. But I do want to take you back. When I was in Pennsylvania with Sana, right? Sana, you could say, had the most clecha on the yard when it came to the Pilis there, right? Without minimizing any of them. They were all members, right? But they have a thing that, first off, I've never heard of it in California, right? And when I was in Eloy, the homie Stalker from Tunerville, he was in touch with Willie Bobo and a few other Billies that were up there in age. So he mentioned the ones we were there and basically told him to put us up on game on who gets priority on the yards, right? Because it's nothing like first come, first serve in California, right? There is by antiquity, who's been on the yard the longest. And when it comes to schooling, there's an older Billy, the one that has the most antiquity, being a member. He has the right to pick and choose who he wants to school, right? It don't mean automatically he's gonna school you. It's still their choice, right? But anyways, since I got there, word started circling around that you there was need things needed in Mexico and stuff. So, and I was a dummy. I already knew what I was gonna do even before I've been asked. And plus I was real close with Frankie, right, the right hand man Asana on the place, and so we just kicked it off. And I'll be honest with you guys, they gave me the respect. That old man gave me the respect and told me, Chino, look, you could receive clecha from anyone on the yard you want to. I'll allow it. They're all going to send you out same way, same direction, just with different guidelines. That's not going to work out for you. But try it, you know. And I'll be honest, I wanted to receive Clecha from Sana. And it wasn't because of it was todo esto and Isabritas or whatever, right? Is he's been doing his thing for a very long time and he has always came out on top, right? So that type of loyalty attracts. Plus, Joe, besides Alley Boys, a couple other neighborhood, and he's satisfied. You know, the homie from Garrity Lomas, you could tell he didn't really want that push no more. He was just rolling with what was coming, right? Chino from SD, man, you would probably have to pay me not to book this fool, right? The best thing I could do is just stay as far from him as possible. And G.I. Joe, I'm straight, I'm from Northern California and I know his stand, right? Just to name a few. So, anyways, I decided to stick with Sana. And the one thing Willie Bobo had, he was a real down to earth individual, He went out his way to present himself, to welcome you, to, you know, we're the smallest car, but if we stick together, ain't nothing gonna happen but us keep being on top. Things in that nature, right? And he got along with Sana real good. And he said, perfect pick for what's gonna be required of you. And that was it. That was my whole conversation with him. I said, gracias. I appreciate your palabras, your timing. And that's it. And I went back and I told Frankie right away, hey, plan con maña, huh? And he goes, what you mean? Me being on this yard is plan con maña, right? And he goes, you were staying relevant by tapping into that, with your family. And it was never struggles, just boom, boom, donde, cuánto, boom, and ahí está. So they don't want you to keep doing that. They want you to actually put yourself physically in Mexico and open up that door. We understand nothing's gratis. We're gonna have to earn it by whatever and start opening doors for them avenues and prices and okay. And that includes todos, right? And he said everyone. The only ones that have a position there is Evil and Daryl. And they're not to be moved because, they'll come in handy at one point. So I said, okay, firmes. So I started getting school by Sana, you know. It's surprising, believe me, how an old man that's been down for so long, first off, talks to you in way, si comprendes way, la que sí way, you know, when you're trying to hold your composure as respectful, right? But also on how much he knew of the Wiggles of Mexico, what's happening state to state to state to state. Sinaloa was basically a dead issue. There wasn't nothing happening there. Besides, you're a freelancer, ¿cuánto quieres? Ahí te va, you know. But there was no trust there, no nada, you know. And as I made my way to Culiacan, I remember seeing my family and I'll never forget them words, right? My uncle told me that day. It's like, fool, ¿cuánto más? And I told him, tío, I don't sidestep. You know I don't. But I am coming at you as a family, not as a favor. I want the opportunity for us to earn your trust. You know, earn them avenues, mejores precios, however we need to. You know, you want us to start going in and knocking heads or go in and use our pocho part and scope thing. However you want us to start, you know, we'll start from scratch. And my uncle said, what about them emitos? They think they're above everything. You're talking to me. We're all going to start from scratch. You know, we left it at that. They said, tell them to go away, just stay 2 weeks with the family. And that's what happened. You know, I stood 2 weeks. And at the end of 2 weeks, it's just, okay, look, Chino, this was going to happen. I can't from the gate give you a crew, right? So you guys make your own crew. I can supply you with the rest, and you guys are gonna be pointers. Nothing more, nothing less. Pointers, gatilleros. I said, all right. Because, for example, and that was one of the first missions they sent us to. I don't even want to say the name, but Wasales. There was, we'll just say, an old man out there that he was real comfortable out there. But Wasales belonged to Chapo Isidro and his people, right? That fat old man was his family member. Well, we can't get up in there because, you know, it pretty much know all of us. Or don't even trip. Let us just see who the individual is. Give us un más o menos where and what service he hangs around in. And and we'll move tomorrow. which it had to be like that, de volada. We had to keep moving because, work gets around in Culiacan quick. And I told my uncle, Tío, es pa usted, right? He said, this one is, but you just take care of that. We took longer to get to Wasabes than finding the individual and dispatching them, right? And getting out of Wasabes, it was like easy. I don't know why everybody in Culiacan had this big old, now you go in Wasabes, you're gonna have problems. Maybe towards the Sierra, but the way we went in that time, it was in, out, we were gone. Probably back by the same night, everything was done. Where did it come from? Who knows? Who did they see? Who did they call out? Now, this vatos never been seen before, and of course, we had to go on the ground and stuff, right? But it's how it all got started. From there, we started just moving forward, opening pipelines. Unfortunately, even though you're down here, you're trying to do correct things, Billy's are gonna still put butts or ifs. You got the homie C, he wanted them just for Pomona. Sapo wanted people out there in Jalisco. Rudy didn't really care, as long as they were homies. Richard, Mono, and oh, whatever Daryl said, pretty much. But if they didn't like it, they found a way to sabotage it, believe me. But anyways, I want to touch on that the most on this one. This is just a cautionary tale. Politics are never the same. We hear the famous word of the state faction, the federal faction, the Mexican faction. Do know that every faction comes with its own rules and regulations. So my best advice is the one I should have took. Done my time till the day I got out. Send a couple packages in, maybe some feria. Y ahí se ven. It's time for a change of menu, right? Family, different things. But see, that's why I'm telling these tales or my walk. Because I was stupid. I was an idiot. I loved the cause. There was nothing more there for me than our movement. I don't know if you guys noticed throughout my story, I have given up my life many times for our movement. And I would have done it with the quickness again. But that's a reflection, right? On you telling you my walk. You saying, man, that's a stupid fool. I'll never do that. By that alone, I'm winning. God's winning. Stay true to yourself and loyal to your loved ones.